50 Cent has reportedly leaked shocking new footage showing Sean Combs looking shaken and fearful in prison, and it's going viral online. For weeks, stories circulated that Diddy was living comfortably inside, drinking wine, and giving business advice to inmates. But new claims suggest a very different reality. Sources now allege that Diddy may have people targeting him behind bars for reasons many didn't expect. And reports even speculate the threat could be connected to individuals tied to Tupac Shakur's circle.
Life might be danger over here because people think that he has something to do with Pac. People think he has something to do with Biggie, and they right here in Brooklyn. You understand? It's right here in Brooklyn, and some of the people are still mad that he made Making of the Band walk to Brooklyn from, to get the cheesecake, and just around the corner from the Cheesecake Factory. So, Junior's. So it might be some dumb shit. So y'all need to get him out of here and ship him to Jersey because somebody gonna kill him over here. Those are good arguments, if you want to call it, but it's bullshit. He gonna get the same treatment no matter how much money he got.
For years, the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I. have hung over hip-hop like an open wound. And just as long, Sean Combs has consistently denied having any involvement in either killing.
This documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to Tupac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Tupac Shakur was shot in a drive-by in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996. He fought for 6 days before dying at just 25. Only 6 months later, the Notorious B.I. was killed the same way in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997. Two giants of rap were gone back-to-back during a moment when the music world was split down the middle. The East Coast-West Coast feud. It wasn't just music. It was pride, loyalty, and long-standing tension. Sean Combs, Biggie's close friend, producer, and head of Bad Boy Records, stood firmly on the East Coast side. Over time, Diddy's name continued to surface in conversations around both deaths. The Netflix documentary Sean Combs, The Reckoning, which premiered December 2nd, brought those discussions back into the spotlight with several participants alleging Diddy may have played a role. Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burrows said the tension between Diddy and Tupac didn't come out of nowhere. Early on, they moved in similar circles until November 30, 1994. That night, Tupac was at Quad Studios in New York to record a guest verse for Diddy's artist, Lil Sean. Instead, Tupac was robbed and shot 5 times in the lobby. He survived, but from that moment his trust in both Diddy and Biggie was shattered. In a 1996 interview with Vibe magazine, Tupac was asked directly whether he believed Diddy was involved. Studio shooting was never solved, but Gene Deal claims Sean Combs already knew Tupac Shakur was going to be shot and let it happen. He says a 50 Cent documentary discussed the incident but left out a critical detail. According to Gene, that same day, Diddy, Andre Harrell, and Jimmy Henchman were together in Jimmy's office. Gene claims the Notorious B.I. and Suge Knight didn't know that. He alleges Diddy wasn't there by accident, saying Diddy was watching Biggie because he controlled Biggie's publishing at the time. Biggie was writing new material, and Gene claims Diddy wanted to know exactly what was happening.
In the interim of him being there to spy on Big, Jimmy Henchman told him that they finna teach Pac a lesson. Because Pac had owed him some money. So that's why he was up in the studio and was coming to the studio. Pac owed him some money. He was going to work it off and get some money from doing a song with Lil Sean. And that's what that was about. But Pac was talking greasy to Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't the type of dude that you talk greasy to, allegedly. Unless you're 50 Cent.
So Diddy knew what was going to happen to Pac.
He knew Pac was about to deal with, yeah. He was there to see it. He was there to see it. He wasn't only there to see Big them when Jimmy Henchman told him that. He was there to see what's going to happen to Pac. He was there for that. Because had he not been there for that, he would have went up there in the office. He would have went to the studio or the studio session with Big them. He would have went to that studio session with Big them. He knew what room Big them was in. He didn't do that. He was there to see what was going to happen to Pac after Jimmy told him. And that's factual.
Gene says this aligns with what Kirk Burrow has also claimed, that Diddy played a role behind the scenes, and if money was involved, Gene believes Kirk would know where it came from.
Yeah, Kirk Burrows, he also said that, he feels like, Diddy was behind Pac murder.
Yeah. If Diddy played a part in that stuff, like he said, Kirk know where the money came from. I'm going to say this. They tried to, if you talk about the Vegas trip and the whole 9 yards, Kirk said that he paid for people to drive out to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? He said he paid for people to drive out of Vegas. I was heavily with Bad Boy at that time. I don't remember that part of it. You understand? I don't remember that part of it. But if Kirk knew and he was paying for people to drive out to Vegas in the whole 9 yards, it's hard to hide $1 million, brother. You ain't going to cash that in the check cashing place. You signing that over to somebody. I said 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 times again. Eric Von Zip showed me and my man Boondang, a.k.a. my man Slick, a check for $1 million. We don't know, and everybody trying to say, lying, talking about half of it got paid, 500. I don't know. I know when I asked him about, we asked him, do we ask? No, we didn't ask him. I know when he showed us a check and he walked away after he showed us the check for the...
Involved may be gone, but the money isn't. Paper trails don't die. According to Gene Deal, if the truth ever comes out, it will be buried in records, checks, and transactions that can still be traced. Nearly 2 years later came the Las Vegas shooting that ended Tupac Shakur's life. For decades, that case remained unsolved, fueling rumors across hip-hop until September 2023 when Dwayne Keith Davis, known as Kef D, was arrested and charged with murder. Prosecutors alleged he played a key role in the killing. Then, in July 2024, a court filing revealed a previously undisclosed 2009 police interview. In it, Davis allegedly described his role in Tupac's murder and repeatedly mentioned Sean Combs, claiming Diddy ordered the shooting. Davis alleged Diddy was enraged by Tupac's ongoing insults. Reports referencing DEA and U.S. Department of Justice interviews also cite a 2008 statement in which Davis claimed Diddy said he needed to get rid of Suge Knight and Tupac allegedly offering $1 million to make it happen.
Claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. By a bullet that night.
Yeah, and he even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said it was just Zip.
So the FBI told you the
same thing. He was a dirty motherfucker.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You're the last one to know every fucking thing. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody can cross.
Combs has denied all of it. In July 2024, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department stated that Combs has never been considered a suspect in the Tupac Shakur homicide investigation. Diddy has never been charged. Dwayne Keith Davis has pleaded not guilty and remains in custody with his trial delayed. After Tupac's death, the danger didn't fade. According to people close to the situation, Diddy and his East Coast team were warned not to travel to the West Coast. Still, Diddy pushed ahead to promote the Notorious B.I.'s upcoming album. Biggie reportedly didn't want to go, but Diddy convinced him to proceed, according to claims made by Kirk Burrow and Sean Combs, The Reckoning.
I've seen an interview that Puffy did with Fat Joe where he was talking about Biggie in his last moments in L.A., and he told Fat Joe that he didn't want to go to L.A., he actually wanted to go to London, but Biggie, he was the one that wanted to go to L.A., and he was the one that was pushing to go to L.A.
That's not true. My name is Kirk Burrows. I ran Bad Boy Entertainment. I helped co-found it. I created the company with him. I raised from general manager to president. And at that time, I put all of those business plans together. And Biggie didn't want to go to LA, ended up going. What got him out there was a week ahead of time to ease him into the whole award show. He may not have wanted to go to London, but was talked into it. First time ever, a rapper of your stature getting this treatment. That would be something he would be interested in doing, but he was easily talked out of it by Sean so that they can make an appearance at an event in LA that Saturday night. A part of the posturing of not only did we come to the award show, not only am I recording my album out here, and Big is going to help me with some of the writing and maybe do something out here where me and him did this song in LA. I'm out on the town. And it was just too much.
This is something Gene Deal says he can corroborate. He revealed that Clark Kent, who was close to the Notorious B.I. and worked in the industry, later admitted he questioned why Biggie was even going out that night. Biggie was supposed to be traveling, not partying. Clark asked why they were heading to the Peterson Automotive Museum. Biggie told him it had been set up by Sean Combs and someone else. Dean says he didn't even know this at the time. He only learned about it years later after Clark stated it publicly.
They wasn't going out to no party, no clubs, and no hip-hop scene. They wasn't doing none of that, brother. But that one particular night they go out, and it was because of Puff and D-Rock. Clark Kent said that shit himself. I've been saying it for years, but everybody was saying, I'm capping. No. What do you call Clark Kent? Is he capping? He's a vice president of a record company. You understand what I'm saying? He was DJing for Big. Is he capping? All these people should smack themselves, brother. Because what happens is, when people hear the truth, they can't believe it. Why? They can't understand it. But it happened. We couldn't have done nothing because it was no we. It was no we out there. Big had a security, Paul offered, Reggie Bullock. Puff had me and Kenny. We was down 6 to 8 other men. And it's 23 people in the entourage. And none of them got no guns. You don't go Cali empty-handed. We couldn't have done nothing, man.
What still hurts Gene Deal the most is that he asked for more security before they went out. He says he pushed the issue and was told no. According to Gene, Sean Combs said there wasn't enough money.
People still want to know shit about him. They should have had better security. I asked them before we gonna go out, let's hire some more security. They refused to hire more security. They refused to hire more security. Kirk Burrows said the same thing. They ain't have it in the budget. Not without Big, they don't have no budget. How about that?
How about that? Later in the docu-series, former lap detective Greg Kading said he believed Sean Combs made the investigation harder, not easier.
My perceptions have changed slightly, gradually over time. Today, I look at Diddy with through a different lens than I might have 10, 15 years ago. There were obviously some early red flags, but it's a complicated thing because we have to be very careful about falsely accusing people or even, making accusations based on nothing more than speculation. And we just haven't seen all the evidence. So I prefer to kind of withhold judgment on some things. I can tell you regarding Diddy back when Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls were murdered. He wasn't exactly cooperative. He didn't do what you would assume a friend or, a manager, so to speak, would do. So from a law enforcement perspective, he was very unhelpful in an area where he ought to have been contributing towards getting some type of justice in those two murder cases. But as we found out in time, he was complicit in one of them, and which would make sense why maybe he didn't cooperate in the other, because the two were, they were just, we always understood that they were somehow interconnected. And so if you're going to cooperate or provide information on one and you're culpable in the other, one thing could lead back to the next. And that's where I think he understood his own vulnerability.
Coming in, he was friendly with Big. He saw Little Sean, people like that. They wanted him to come and do a record. That was what was set up at Quad. Biggie knowing Little Sean. They were all there. Sees all of them. It was just going to be a fun night at the studio. Pac showed up. He saw them looking down from the window. His new friends were there. An incident happened in the elevator. It might have been a scary thing, like just to send a message. Tupac standing his own ground. Just didn't leave it at that. He ended up getting hit, getting shot. The elevator went up. Our people were shocked to see him in that state. He was shocked to see our people looking at him shocked. He thought that they knew something about it. He thought if he was in New York and he was with all the rappers from the East, they must have known what was going to happen. It had to be in the wind, and situations aren't laid out like that. And it was the furthest thing from the truth, but he held that to his heart. And then he, went away. A few other things happened, got better, got repaired, went away, went to jail on the rape charge. Once that came down on him, it looked as if the East Coast must have been the worst thing and the worst place for him to have come to. And it looks as if the friends that he had just turned their backs on him. Suge stepped in, and when Suge stepped in, he signed him. He signed him to a napkin at Clinton. And that letter that he sent through Wendy Day, she was definitely a person that was connected and a mediator between most everyone in the hip-hop game, and had been for a minute. Legendary person. She delivered the letter to my office. It started with West Side Up. So it gave an indication of rumblings that we heard in the street with him being shined by Shook, which definitely true.
By the name of Wendy Day, very important woman in the hip-hop world. I think she helped Baby and those guys with Cash Money label, setting that up. She's very influential and instrumental in a lot of success. When I started in the music business, I reached out to her. She had a company called Rap Coalition. She went back and helped rappers from a previous generation get their money straight, their royalties. With that being said, I was like, she's someone I want to know. In knowing her, I had the good fortune of when she was dealing with Tupac during his crises on the East Coast, she went to visit him at Clinton. He wrote a letter, drafted it so that she can bring it to me at the office so that I could know and be able to relate to Sean where we were with him. And the letter, if I remember, it said, West Side Up. And what we had heard was rumblings that Suge came and signed him on a napkin to a contract, and he was going to go west. and all the stuff that happened to him on the East and made it look like people on the East, the king or the biggest rappers on the East, or people that he knew should have warned him or protected him against what had happened. And it just is not geographically laid out like that. And a lot of people caught some blame for things that they had nothing to do with. And he took offense, went west, and that started him as a mouthpiece against the East, all right, going at Biggie. And I think it's more than, that's one level of the beef. Then I think there's another level of things that were going on in the streets where things happened in the dividing line between East and West that caused a big rift that led to mouthpieces going at each other.
He says Sean Combs's hatred for Tupac Shakur felt intense, not competitive, not petty, but personal. He admits it may sound extreme, but insists the hatred was real. And only later, he says, did he understand just how deep it truly ran.
You made about how when you would bring up Pac name around Diddy, he'll get mad.
Yes. Yes. He hated every bit of it. I remember one time, he was like, who did you grow up listening to? I'm like, Tupac. I ain't mentioned Biggie. That nigga ain't even talk to me for like 4 days after that. Everything with Pac, like, you couldn't say Pac was anything better than Biggie. You can't put them in the same realm or nothing. It was all about Biggie. Nigga, I ain't know no fucking, it was all a dream whole song. I knew a couple words, the first verse maybe, but he made us recite the whole fucking thing. I guess, I don't know. He made us recite that whole fucking thing. And I don't think that Biggie would have gave a f if a nigga would have killed about reciting his whole shit. You dig? Like, cause I grew up listening to Biggie too, and I just felt Pac different. For D situation, I think the real reason why they ain't gonna let Puffy out is because they trying to connect that Keefer D situation with Puffy. That's what I really think it is. Because if it came down to some significant foolishness and all that, there are buku chumped up charges they couldn't prove, I don't think they got no evidence. I think they trying to keep him in there to lock in that Keefer D. You heard me? That Keefer D situation with Puff. I think that's the only reason why he's still in jail right now. They know Puff is not a dangerous person on the outside. They know if they let him out right now, he's going to be on house arrest. He's going to be a good boy. He f around and do all church videos and whatever. They know that already. That's not what they aiming for. They don't care about none of that. What they care about is they trying to connect Keefer D with Biggie. I mean, with Tupac and Diddy. I'm telling you, that's what I feel. And I never thought I would have said that, but I'm an intelligent man, bruh. And ain't no other way they gonna keep you in there of, yeah, Diddy did this to me. Oh, Diddy did that to me. I'm suing him. Oh, we got enough evidence to. No, you don't. That's accusations. That's not factual, brother. You dig? So I feel like the factual thing that they really trying to aim for is the Keefer D. That's the only thing that they can really lock him in with. All the rest of that shit gonna get chumped down when it come down to it. Diddy gonna plea, and that shit gonna be over with. What they going? That rabbit in the hole is gonna be that Keefer D situation. I'm telling, mark my words. Watch. That's why they ain't gonna let him out. They would have let Keefer D out on that bail. Vegas got a little thing. They'll let you out on bail, but they got little restrictions of how you can get out. You dig? So they gonna make sure your ass can't get out of jail. Trust me. So that's the only way I see that. Because the feds play a different game.
Now, here's the thing. 50 Cent is allegedly leaking this footage to outlets like TMZ and other news aggregators. If Gene Deal is to be believed, Sean Combs isn't going to stay quiet. He's going to retaliate.
Need people to put people out here that's doing shit like this. That's taking from people's families. That's beating women. That's drugging women. I ain't got a problem with it. Let's go to war. Bruh, first of all, they're going to try to get his baby mama stories, You know, they're gonna try to get 50 baby mama stories. They're gonna try to get girls that he probably dated, that he had problems and issues with and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to do the same thing they probably did to R. Kelly or Puff or whatever like that, and people tell their stories. You understand? But, you know, they trying to retaliate on what he did. Let him go ahead, bruh. Because I think he ready for it. You don't do this shit, and you don't do the stuff that he did or sign on to the stuff that he did with Puff. Unless you got your shit in order. Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. I believe 50 ready for it. If they come at him any kind of way. I heard that Diddy is trying to sue Netflix for $1 billion. Ain't nothing came up in court. That's just talk, bro. No paperwork has been put in and signed into that. They're going to have a reason. If they were suing him and he had enough reason, why they didn't cease and desist the thing? Huh? If he had a leg to stand on, why they didn't cease and desist the documentary? They're just people talking. Headline news. Because had it been filed in court and they had a leg to stand on, they'd have been bringing that stuff down. Oh, we can't show it no more.
Do you think we'll ever see Sean Combs convicted for Tupac Shakur's murder? Let us know in the comments.